Hello, my name is Alex and I manage the Tropiq Ethiopia office in Addis. Tropiq is a sister company of Nordic Approach. Because of COVID-19, obviously I'm here in Oslo with the Oslo team and cupping some Ethiopian coffees with Nordic Approach today. Today we're tasting some coffees that are coming to the Nordic Approach Belgium warehouse. Today's concept is to taste from two different regions, from Uraga and then from Dhilgee. So from Uraga we have two different grades, grade 1 and grade 2 from two different stations. One of them is a new station that we just started to work with this year. This is a grade 1. It is very clear in profile, and then I want to make the difference with the grade 2 that you can get so that you can see the difference in value. And for Dhilgee, there's a lot of micro regions within Dhilgee. So we're going to taste some from Hambela and some from Uraga, and different processes, washed and natural. All right, let's cup. So coffee number 1, this is Margarissa. This is a Uraga grade 2. It is from the western region of Uraga at about 1800 meters above sea level, a little bit past Aricha. And it is a smaller station than usual, about 800 farmers delivering to the station approximately. So for me, this coffee is quite typical of what one would expect from Uraga. Some florality, a little bit of lemon in the finish, but this is a grade 2, whereas the grade 1 you would have extreme intensity in both floral notes, but also in the acidity, overall kind of structure of the coffee. A grade 2, you would expect to have a little bit less of a structure and a little bit less of acidity and a little bit less of intensity of the floral note. But sometimes you can really find amazing coffees that are grade 2s. And this is one of those. I'm very happy that Nordic Approach is bringing this into their spot offer here in Belgium. This for me is really good floral notes, really good lemon, not too much. I think this would be perfect for an espresso because it doesn't have this screaming acidity that a lot of these Uraga has. This is Uraga. This is from Dhilgee. It's a very new area for Ethiopia. Uraga has only existed for about 2 years. It's a region that's in very high altitudes in Dhilgee, about 2,200, 2,300 meters above sea level. And there's very few stations in the area. And this to me is just a great coffee. So because Uraga is a very new region, exporters and producers are still kind of figuring out what the typical profile for Uraga is. For me, cupping Ethiopians for the past 5 years, I've noticed that in Dhilgee profiles have been changing a lot, and in Uraga I see two specific profiles, one that's more on the papaya and tropical side and one that's more on the floral side. But floral meaning extreme floral. This Uraga is for me very floral, quite citric also. It has a little bit of orange in there, a little bit of maybe nectarine as well. Really balanced acidity, and structure is some of the best you can find in Ethiopia. One of my favorite coffees of this year, this is called Chelebesa. This is in Uraga region, but much further in the western side of Uraga. It is 2,100 to 2,300 meters above sea level. This specific station was built only this year, and the station has tiles and everything, but this is the first washed coffee that they have produced ever. I mean, it's very difficult to know what to expect from this region just because it is very new. But for me, it's quite tropical. It has pineapple, passion fruit. It has a little bit of a floral note. It does have a little bit of characters from from Yirgacheffe region as well on the lemon side. But the structure is incredible. I think the profile is very complex. You can get a lot of different fruits at different temperatures. And the great thing about this station in general is just they believe in waiting for the cherries to fully ripen. So they do not pick gradually, they pick everything at the same time when the whole tree is ripe. And I just find that extremely fascinating. This is Nensebo Refisa. Nensebo Refisa is then in bordering West RC and Sidama region. Some say it's Sidama, some say it's West RC, but this specific station is on the northeastern side of Bale Mountain National Park, which is located then in West RC. I have to say this is a natural, so we're jumping from 3 wash coffees to a natural coffee. I think Nensebo is incredibly fascinating just because it's also a region that's been blossoming the past years. This specific coffee for me is a little bit on the heavier natural side. It is not over fermented, it is not too heavy. It is for me the perfect balance between acidity and body and sweetness. This is quite tropical. For me it has some mango, it has kind of pineapple jam almost, and it does have a little bit of this like preserved cherries, but just the acidity is very good, and I think this is a very uniform and clean natural coffee. This coffee is from the supplier called Hambela. He has 3 different stations. This is one of the stations we are going to taste today. Gedeb is 1.5 hours south of Yirgacheffe. It does not have the typical Yirgacheffe profile. For me, this is quite tropical still, a little bit on the heavier side, but still an incredible freshness in the finish. It has mango, a little bit of fermented strawberries. I think it has good floral notes, almost hibiscus-like. The finish is extremely clean, and just this is a very intense coffee. I would use this as a filter, even for competition coffees. It's incredibly balanced and complex, and it will just keep on developing in the next months. Last coffee of the day, this is Hambela Wamena. Hambela Wamena is then a small region in Dhilgee. It is also very new or very recent. It's only been there for 3, 4, 5 years. This is also a natural coffee from Hambela. So this is the second of the 3 stations that they have. Now, Hambela has surprised me quite a lot this season, and actually last season and the season before that too. I think that it's incredibly floral usually, and this natural does have the same type of character, but it has this other dimension of papaya, a little bit of pineapple on top of that, some cherries, a little bit of maybe, like micro strawberries. I think this is also an incredibly complex coffee. It's a little bit on the heavier side, but fits perfectly as a espresso, a filter. This as well, I think, will be great as a competition coffee. And I'm just very, very happy to be working with Hambela this season. Right, so thank you so much for joining us today. This is one of the first times that we're doing this, so any feedback is welcome. And if you want to see any other new coffees or coffees coming in, then just let us know, and hope to see you next time. I love this coffee.